Hey guys, AJAX 22 here. Had an idea for salvaging that old stock that's had all the wood charred off of it and the wrist. There's still good wood underneath it. It's just going to be, it's going to have a little bit too much of a dip between the steel of the receiver. This is my Remington 11, or one of my beater Remington 11s. And you can see how the charring is going to make there be like too much of a dip in the wood. Now we can rebuild that using just some wood putty and you know, a little bit of fiberglass essentially, but it's going to look horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. But I had a thought: if we get some 1/8 inch or perhaps even thinner woodwork, sheet brass, we can cut a template, hammer it to fit on the Remington 11 that we got here, which is a beater gun. Shouldn't be too big of a deal tapping on it with some soft brass and some mallets. We can have some metal grip plates that we can tack into the wood, or the wood and putty material essentially, that will completely cover the repairs to the wood, while at the same time adding a little bit of reinforcement and a nice aesthetic to it. And we should be able to actually completely rebuild the missing wood underneath this and still have it, you know, add a nice aesthetic. It should I was thinking actually putting some holes through it. I've seen that in some period repair pieces. Usually when the wrist is repaired, it's just a sheet of brass that's, you know, crudely hammered on by some guy, but I've seen a couple of quality gunsmith repairs where they actually took plates that they hammered out and then did some interesting holes to, I don't know why they did, I think it was just aesthetics. It came out really nice. But yeah, I think that's the way to go. Pick up some, you know, I mean, it's not inexpensive, but some brass stock. Take the masking tape off this now that we have it cut roughly to shape. Transfer that onto a pattern, cut the brass to fit using a jeweler's saw, and then you know, hammer to shape, fit it over the wood, take a Dremel and get rid of the rest of the charring, build it back up using putty, sand it to roughly the same shape, and then take the now hammered brass sides and tack them onto the wood. I think that's the way to go here. Should add a nice overall aesthetic to the gun, and at the same time, you know, save us $50 or whatever it is. I mean, it's still probably going to cost us $50 in brass and putty, but I'd rather spend $50 on something interesting and unique than $50 on something that just sort of gets it back to kind of factory, even though the gun will never be, you know, that kind of a pretty factory gun. So best to save the original wood, you know, that's good and floating around out there for the guys with the pretty guns. This gun's going to be a little different, and you know, I'd feel bad about cutting up a brand new stock into a Whippet gun, so we'll just take this old charred one and cut it up. Another thing, I have a brass butt plate on order. It's a rough casting off of, well, it's designed for some of those muzzle loaders, and we'll see if we can actually fit it to this. If we can, that would be awesome. I'd love to have like a nice little brass toe on the Whippet gun. It would add a little something to it. But if we can't, then we can't. You know, I'll use it for something else. Anyway, that's what we're working on right now on this gun. We've got some interesting developments on the fore end. I went and got a hold of some Thompson reproduction foregrip wood and a mounting bolt. I think instead of a strut underneath, we're actually going to run a piece of 1.25" copper M tube with some cuts made into it so you can see the spring assembly. And then for mock-up purposes right now, I'm probably just going to use a chunk of 1-inch copper pipe inside that while I'm doing the fitting. But ultimately, I want to do a brass block which I've been taking measurements for, that'll go and actually stand right there and act as a spacer, and also wrap around the barrel a little bit. On the vent rib, we might actually mill a slot to leave the vent rib in place, and then just have, you know, it's something. I'm working on it. I don't have it fully figured out. But I'm going to transfer this blue tape onto some paper and use it for a template and see what we can do. Not a lot. We're sitting here. I ordered the screwdrivers to disassemble it. They came back into stock early, so you know, this is gonna happen. Anyway, have a good one. Hey guys, just wanted to show you what the tape looked like once it had been transferred to paper. Yeah, that's actually what the pattern's going to be. Should be real simple and straightforward to cut out. A couple of nice sweeping curves, nice straight edge there. We're probably going to index off of. It's going to be a little tricky because this is a couple of compound curves, so you know, we might have to simplify some of this a little bit. But I'm gonna try for doing it the way it is. Anyway, when I get done with this, I'll actually try to scan this template along with a ruler so that you can get a scale for it, in case anybody else wants to do this kind of mod to their shotgun. You know, as long as I'm making the templates for myself, might as well put them out there for the world. Anyway. Thought you'd get a kick out of it. Bye.